The season didn't get off to the best start for Peralta and his assistant coach Bale, with a defeat in the Champions League against Midtjylland, a team that on paper should have been beaten. However, things aren't going too badly for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga, sitting in the 5th place, just 1 point behind the leaders. The team is performing quite well in the league. Tiago Tomás is in excellent form and seems set to break every goal-scoring record. In the 8th match of the season, Wolfsburg face Eintracht Frankfurt, and it only takes about 10 minutes before Nmecha charges into the box and takes a shot on goal, only to see his effort rebound into the net of Mudryk, who scores yet another of his trademark goals. Shortly after, Portuguese player Costinha, who's been impressing this season, plays a brilliant ball through to Nmecha. The German striker enters the box, eyes the goalkeeper and then squares it for Tomás, who taps in for a simple 2-0. In the second half, Nmecha finally finds the back of the net with a curling shot from the edge of the box. Not long later, after a dazzling series of dribbles and pins, Mudryk nets another rebound, scoring his first ever brace for Wolfsburg. Michael Peralta can finally smile. His team has responded well to the disappointing European result, and it's still just 1 point behind the league leaders. Lukas Nmecha, Bale's protege, hasn't had a good start, but he's not had much chance to prove himself yet. But there's more to think about, as it's time for a DFB Pokal match against Union Berlin. It's a tough away game against a team that knows what it's doing. Peralta gives Velez a chance from the start, and he's the one to have the first opportunity, but he misses miserably. However, shortly after, the Argentine makes up for it with a brilliant assist for Bochum, who hits his first time, catching the goalkeeper off guard and putting Wolfsburg 1-0 up. Later on, the Finn is fouled badly by Querfeld, who is sent off, leaving Union with 10 men. Despite this, the match offers little more, and it ends 1-0, with Wolfsburg going to the next round. In the post-match press conference, Peralta smiles at the cameras, happy because the even so-called reserves are playing well, especially the Doge Bochum, who celebrates the win in the locker room with a big cold beer as usual. This is the only game against Union Berlin, as the two teams meet again, this time in the league, and Tom Roth, the rapidly improving fullback, will start against his former team. About half an hour into the match, Tiago Tomás produces a brilliant through ball for Mudryk's run, and the Ukrainian finishes with his right foot, putting Wolfsburg 1-0 up. A fantastic start to the season for Mudryk and Wolfsburg, who doubled their lead just 2 minutes later with a stunning goal from Lukas Nmecha. In the second half, it's the German striker who provides the key assist for Tiago Tomás, who controls the ball and turns it into a goal, making it 3-0. As the match nears its end, Filip Ugrinic also gets on the score sheet, firing in a powerful right-footed shot to seal the 4-0 victory. Wolfsburg seems to have bounced back from their tough start to the season, but just as things are going well, comes the sad news of Lovro Mayer's injury. He's fractured the toe and will be out for about 3 months. Meanwhile, before the upcoming Champions League match, there's a youth tournament to play. Everyone stands out with goals and assists, Lenny Gasch and Oliver Weber in the first game against Bochum. Leo Bohm and Schreiber in the second match, before witnessing an incredible goal from Gasch. But the real show is just beginning, as in the final against Hoffenheim, Gasch scores a bicycle kick that leaves everyone stunned, and Schreiber, wanting to prove he's just as good, copies him shortly after, sealing the game with another stunning goal. In the meantime, Erling Haaland has finally won the first Ballon d'Or of his career. Will it be the last? Who knows? Peralta has other things on his mind as he prepares to face Thiago Motta's Juventus in the Champions League. It will be a tough match for Wolfsburg, who need to take points. Tomás comes close to scoring early on, but his shot goes over the bar. Despite facing a strong opponent, Wolfsburg manages to play some good football, and in the second half, after a fine series of passes, Mudryk receives the ball in the box from Tomás and nearly scores the opening goal. The Wolves keep pushing, but the match ends in a draw. It would have been a decent result for Wolfsburg, if only they hadn't dropped points against Midtjylland and in previous games. The good performance certainly can't be ignored, even though Michael Peralta, seeing his team at the bottom of the Champions League standings, now seems to have lost hope. Only a miracle could help Wolfsburg qualify. In the league, however, the Wolves are now at the top, though there are 5 teams within just 2 points. The 10th match day is coming up, and Peralta and Bale side will host Freiburg at home. On paper, it's not a tough match, but some rotation will be needed, and against teams like this, the danger is always lurking. Midway through the first half, the usual Costinha delivers a dangerous ball into the box, which Tomás, showing great selfness and intelligence, passes to Nmecha, putting Wolfsburg ahead. In the second half, the German striker returns the favour, and Tomás, finishing with the tip of his foot in a futsal-style shot, scores the 2-0. The match ends with this result, as Wolfsburg secures another crucial 3 points, once again highlighting their excellent form. Unfortunately for them, the standings remain unchanged, and the 5 teams at the top are still very close. Meanwhile, looking at the Champions League top scorer list, Schäfer draws the coach's attention to a certain Marius Corbu, a Romanian midfielder from Apoel, who has been performing brilliantly. Schäfer also highlights Lukas Nmecha, a young Brazilian at Karabakh with excellent future prospects. An outgoing deal is also completed, with Brown moving to Sion in Switzerland. With January approaching, another name on the radar is Enzo Lefebvre, a quality midfielder who hasn't found much playing time at Roma. But the present is November 21, and there's a crucial game against Borussia Mönchengladbach, a tricky opponent aiming for a spot in the Europa League. As always, all eyes are on Tiago Tomás, who scored 13 goals in 10 league games. And indeed, at Borussia Park, midway through the first half, it's the Portuguese who opens the scoring with a right-footed strike, beating the goalkeeper one-on-one. Wolfsburg press high and play well, and in the second half, after a defender's mistake in clearing the ball, Nmecha collects a cross and scores a stunning bicycle kick, making it look like the easiest thing in the world, leaving Peralta in awe. A few minutes later, Tiago Tomás adds another, making it 3-0, and the match ends with that score. Tiago Tomás is on everyone's lips. His performances are making headlines worldwide. Meanwhile, the search for a quality midfielder continues, and the name Schäfer likes most is Manu Koné, who's been performing brilliantly at Mönchengladbach. Alejo Velic, on the other hand, asked Peralta for a chance in the Champions League, but against Atletico Madrid, the coach prefers to rely on Tomás and Nmecha. Atletico is a team Peralta knows very well, having faced them in many derbies during his time at Real Madrid, and he knows just how tough they are. Wolfsburg start well. In the first half, Nmecha tests the goalkeeper, who saves, and soon after, Mudryk fires a powerful shot that goes over the bar. In the second half, a through ball sets up Marcus Thuram in the box, and he finishes with his right foot, putting the Madrid side 1-0 up. On the bench, El Cholo Simeone celebrates in front of the Wolfsburg bench. A few minutes later, Julian the Spider Alvarez scores to make it 2-0. Things are looking bleak for Wolfsburg, but they refuse to give up, and with just a few minutes left, they pull one back with another fire goal from Tiago Tomás. Unfortunately for the Wolves, the game ends in a defeat, which almost certainly means the end of their European run. Peralta addresses this in the post-match press conference, apologizing to the fans but stressing that this is just the first step in a long journey, asking for patience. Meanwhile, Marcel Schäfer returns with a report on Marius Corbu, showing that while he might not appear exceptional at first glance, he has great potential and versatility. Lukas Nmecha also seems to impress, especially due to his young age. With one game less, Wolfsburg now face a real test of strength in their upcoming league match against Borussia Dortmund, who have been much less impressive this season compared to last, but it will undoubtedly be a tough game in every respect. Only a quarter of an hour passes before Bayer scores to make it 1-0, silencing the Wolfsburg fans. However, the Wolves react, and about 10 minutes later, thanks to the heroic Tiago Tomás, they leveled the score. In the second half, though, once again Bayer is left unmarked, and once in the box, he fires a powerful right foot shot past Grabara, putting Borussia back in front. A few minutes later, there's even time for a goal from Guirassy, last season's fan favorite, who makes it 3-1. Towards the end, Wolfsburg lose all determination, and after a mistake, they even concede a 4-1 goal to Karim Adeyemi. A dreadful moment for the home side, who see both the Champions League and the top spot in the league slipping away, as in this competition, every mistake is costly. Meanwhile, a new signing is added to the youth team, the promising Jacques Wamplou. But there's still another trophy to fight for, the DFB Pokal, and Wolfsburg must face Bochum at home. Gift Orban has been scoring a lot recently, and is a player to be tightly marked on the pitch. Leverkusen and Bayern have already advanced, and Wolfsburg must do no less. This time, Peralta relies on Pohjanpalo and Velis from the start. At the Volkswagen Arena, the atmosphere is lively but tense, as the fans are desperate for the team to progress in the cup. However, just half an hour in, Team Skark opens the scoring for Bochum, putting them ahead. But Wolfsburg are tough to break, and 15 minutes later, Velis sets up Pohjanpalo, who equalizes with a poacher's goal. Shortly after, Pohjanpalo shields the ball and feeds Kevin Paredes, who enters the box and blasts it into the net, putting the Wolves ahead. In the 65th minute, a mistake by Robin Noche results in a second yellow card, leaving Wolfsburg with 10 men. The Wolves then close up shop, hang on, and secure a hugely important victory after 20 minutes of extreme suffering, fighting like a true team. Kevin Paredes, starting from the beginning today, played an outstanding game, capping off his performance with a decisive goal. Despite this, the Man of the Match award goes to the Doge Pohjanpalo, who has formed a great friendship with Paredes and for that reason decided to give him the trophy. As Maya returns to the Wolfsburg training ground, great news for Peralta ahead of the tough away game against Mainz, which promises to be a hard-fought match where they need to battle until the end. After just 3 minutes, Tomás bursts into the box, dribbles past his defender and attempts a lob that surprises the goalkeeper but hits the crossbar. However, it's an unexpected mistake that happens next, as Baku makes a careless pass to Lee Jae-sung, who takes advantage and scores to make it 1-0. A few minutes later, from a corner, Anke Olsen rises above everyone and heads in a second goal, making it 2-0 and leaving Peralta and the Wolfsburg bench stunned. The Wolves are struggling, and in the 37th minute, Hong approaches the penalty box unchallenged and takes a right foot shot, surprising Grabara. But when you hit the rock bottom, the only way is up, and just 5 minutes later, Nmecha and Tomás exchange passes, with Portuguese players scoring to pull one back. In the second half, it's Tomás again who pushes the team forward, and in the 60th minute, he scores the 3-2, bringing the game back to life. Just a few minutes later, Nmecha combines with Tomás and picks up the ball in the box, firing it past the goalkeeper with his right foot to make it 3-3. The game tightens up from here, but just 2 minutes to go, the ball falls to Tresoldi in the box, who takes aim and fires into the top corner, scoring the decisive 4-3 and sending the stadium into ecstasy. In the press conference, Peralta expresses his disappointment over the loss, but he knows his players showed great performance and determination. Captain Maxiarno rallies the team, as now there's a Champions League match to play with pride, regardless of the result. After gaining only 2 points in 5 games, Barcelona is the last team Peralta would want to face, but this is the Champions League. Barcelona is another opponent Peralta has faced many times as a player, and for him, this game feels like a bit of a Clásico. He'll give it his all to deliver a strong performance. Barcelona is in great form, Hansi Flick's team is determined. The Blaugrana fans are out in full force at the Camp Nou and aren't shy about booing their rivals, Bale and Peralta, as they enter the field. At the half-hour mark, Mihailo Mudryk passes to Filip Ugrinic, who bursts into the edge of the box and unleashes a powerful left-foot shot that the goalkeeper can't reach. Wolfsburg takes the lead. However, just a few minutes later, the Blaugrana respond, and Lewandowski calmly scores the equalizer. Shortly after, from a corner, Schutal and Grabara make a mistake, gifting Araujo with an open goal, and the defender doesn't hesitate to score, putting Barcelona ahead. In the second half, with the support of their fans, the Blaugrana become unstoppable, and the ageless Lewandowski adds another goal, making it 3-1. Just before the final whistle, Tiago Tomás sets up Velez, who controls well and beats the goalkeeper, scoring a goal that, although it doesn't prevent a defeat for Wolfsburg, allows them to leave Barcelona with some dignity. Wolfsburg's European dreams seem over, but not everything is lost. Alejo Velez has found his first ever Champions League goal, and he's more motivated than ever. It's mid-December, and in the Bundesliga, Wolfsburg will face Augsburg. The top of the table has become more distant, now 4 points away, which is still within reach. Peralta starts Tiago Tomás from the beginning, and he creates the first chance of the game with a shot that's saved by the goalkeeper. In the second half, Lukas Nmecha picks up a ball at the edge of the box and shoots, but his attempt hits the crossbar. The game remains balanced until the final minutes when Tiago Tomás sets up Alejo Velez. Alone in the box, the Argentine takes a right-footed shot and he beats the goalkeeper, scoring a crucial goal to keep Wolfsburg in the upper part of the standings, becoming the hero of the day. In the press conference, Peralta praises Velez, especially after the many criticism he received over the summer for his high transfer fee. With this victory, Wolfsburg maintains a 4-point gap from the top, though 4 other teams are playing exceptionally well. The Wolves know that no mistake can be made, and that they will have to give everything in the following match against Hertha Berlin. Peralta and Bale decide to give Velez a chance from the start, partnering him with unstoppable Tiago Tomás. Once again, it's the Portuguese forward who looks for the goal, but his shot is saved. Later, Velez misses a 1v1 chance with the goalkeeper, and Tomás is unable to score from the rebound. In the second half, Tomás is replaced by Nmecha, who is determined to score. Shortly after, he's set up by a perfect pass from Velez, and he scores to give Wolfsburg the lead. With the score unlocked and a little more calm, Alejo Velez redeems himself for his earlier miss, scoring the 2-0 and securing the victory. At the final whistle, the team celebrates another league win and thanks their ever-supportive fans. The situation remains unchanged, as none of the top 5 teams make mistakes, and Wolfsburg is still 4 points behind the leaders. Now Peralta and Bale can take a short break before discussing the transfer market with Schaefer. The squad needs reinforcement for the second half of the season, as the Wolves will need to give everything to climb the standings and try to win the title.